Meditationis classis Latina capitulum, sorry, secundum Familia Romana. Precatio incipiens. In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Amen. Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tu in mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Sancta Maria, Mater Dei, ora pro nobis peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostrae. Amen. So let's see. I just thought I'd mention the Houston Museum of Fine Arts, which is having well, actually, it's on now, so you might pop over there. It is classical, and it's Trajan and his cohorts, which were not exactly friendly to the early Christians. But anyway, might be useful to go over there and kind of soak up a little of the roughly the period that our Familia Romana takes place in. So with that, let's see, I think we'll get right to the second chapter. Any questions from last time? And for that matter, any questions from the first chapter?
Michael, did you say that you've been to the exhibit?
No, I haven't. I plan to go. It runs through January 25th. So
You've been to Rome, haven't you?
yes, I have.
And seen the Trajan's column?
Yes, I have.
I'm wondering if they have a like a miniature of it in their display. I guess Francis could answer that
Yeah,
question.
Francis could answer it.
It's an impressive um, column, impressive structure.
It is. For those that don't know what it is, it's a column. Well, I don't know how many feet wide it is. What, 3, 4,
Hmm
5, somewhere in there. And it basically tells a story of his reign all the way, and it spirals around,
hmm
and it's all carved into the marble, I guess. Um, the only thing that's a little disconcerting is Rome, like many cities, has an air pollution problem, and that does tend to eat into the marble. So hopefully they have it well protected. So
Yeah, it's a fun way to if particularly if you have a good guide who can take you through what's written. It's a fun way to understand the history as it was written at that time.
indeed, yeah, maybe I'll dig it out for a class. We'll see. But getting back to the language itself, any questions on, whoops, that's too far. Where are we? I know we're in here. There we go. Okay, I guess not. Well, let's get started on the chapter. I think we got about halfway through section 2. I don't think we got so let's start. I don't think we got really this far. Is that right? I really should write the line. You'd think I should write the line number down. Well, that's a good place to start. By the way, I did want to say one other thing, and Alex pointed this out to me, and I had long since forgotten. Uh, there's a word in Latin. There's always some word in a foreign language that always gives everybody a lot of trouble. And the word in Latin for us is Liber. It actually has three meanings. Uh, if you remember the Our Father, said libera nos a malo, deliver us from evil, as we translate it, or liberate, and liberty, and liber in Latin means free. Sorry, liber. No, sorry. Yeah, liber means free. And so liber, libri, with a short I, is a book. Unus liber, duo libri. Okay. So liber is a child. Now, it's usually used in only in plural forms. Okay. So you usually see it as liberi, liberorum, liberis, and various other forms that we haven't had yet. But it will be seen as singular occasionally, especially post-classical. And so, actually, this is a good question as
Well,
to,
But, but we discussed that puer is more often used to refer to a child.
right, puer, it's usually the habit of the Romans, and to a certain extent, English, that if you're talking generically, then you will often use the masculine form. So if you know that it is a boy child, you would use puer, and if you knew it was a girl child, then you would use puella. But if you were just talking about a child generically, then you would probably go with puer.
And the reason why I bring that up is that obviously context tells you what you really need to know, but more often than not, if you see the word liber, Liber, it's referring to a book and not to a child.
Yeah, use a short I when you say that. Liber.
Sort of hard for me to talk a short. Okay, I'll try to.
Yeah, I
Li-
know. It's one that, and in fact, I may add, if we go back to the recording, the ecclesiastical recording, he will say liber for one book, so unus liber, but he will say duo libri. He actually makes it short for the other forms. And I don't know
Michael,
if that's an Italian thing or, and it could be from the region he's from. I don't know. I do know that the accent is on the li, so lih bear. So maybe in the process of putting that accent on there, it became long. So you're in good company, Alex. I do it too. So
yeah, Michael, I don't know about anybody else in this class, but sometimes when I'm singing at church, I want to say sed libera nos, and I think, wait a minute, Michael says it's a short I. And so I
well,
have to,
well, wait a minute. That's the verb.
I know, but what I'm saying is that I sometimes when the I is a short I, and ecclesiastically, it's always sung as a long I.
We
And
all do that.
Oh
yeah,
yeah, yeah. No, I've mentioned that in well, okay. First off, point, you picked a bad example
I know.
because
Okay.
libera in the Our Father is
Right,
actually a long I.
right.
But there are other places. Dominus is the classic.
Yeah. Dom
Everybody will sing do, and on.
Dominus vobiscum.
Yeah, and so if the priest turns it and says it, well, I'm thinking more like the Creed and the Gloria is where you will see the word. And since you're singing it, it typically comes out long. When the priest turns to you, he really should use the short form. But you sing it long often enough, and people will start to use the long value. But yeah, um, so just remember, liber is a book.
Yeah. I don't think that I've ever heard Deacon Casey say Dominus vobiscum. It's always Dominus vobiscum.
He's probably been trained by the choir. So, and sometimes, and to be honest with you, sometimes it's a little hard to tell whether that some of those words were short or long vowels when they come out rapidly. But anyway,
Could you tell us again when did they start using macrons on these words?
oh, probably the early 1900s.
And then, but before then, people would
I
not
Yes.
necessarily pronounce words correctly.
Um, I do not recall seeing them before the 1900s. Okay. Um, and I have some books that go, and certainly the 1700s and earlier, they were not there. And part of the reason for that is anybody who was educated, and that was more people than you might think, would have had Latin, multiple years of Latin. And so they would have known the correct pronunciation. For example, if I hand you an English book, uh, you generally do not see macrons on, unless it's a dictionary, on any of the words. And that's because the presumption is a native speaker, an English speaker, would know how to pronounce it. And that's true of most other languages. German has umlauts, but that really doesn't count. That's kind of a special case. French have the accent grave and the accent aigu to distinguish between their E's. Um, but those are the exceptions. And so, yeah, the other one that happens was in most Latin missals, you will see you won't see long or short markings, but you will see accent markings so
Right.
they know where to put the stress on it. And I have a delightful little book. Well, actually, it's not all that little. And I've forgotten when it was printed. I'm going to say 1750 just to pick a date out of the air. I can go over and look it up, but and it's all Latin except the instructions are in French. So so figure that one out. But no, 1900, the early 1900s is the first time I begin to see it.
But
Yeah, in German, they build it into the language like an AH would be long. And then if there's a double consonant like NN, then the vowel preceding it is short.
You're
So
talking
they
about
don't,
you're talking about German now.
German, yeah, it's kind of built into the language. They don't have markings for it, but
Yeah.
you could tell from the spelling how it's to be pronounced. And so, and if you get it wrong, they won't understand what you're saying.
uh,
They'll think it's a different word.
Well, I do remember a certain friend of ours who instead of saying in German, she was having her studying in Germany and accidentally said powdered babies instead of baby powder, and in German, which provide great amusement to her fellow college students. But anyway, um, yeah,
The like my mom, I have the dyslexia that my mom has and some of our kids had it, and it makes us love foreign languages and be truly truly terrible at them. And with my mom, she said never tell me what not to do because that's the only thing that she will remember. And her French instructor told her never say, and I don't remember which one, it's cheveux and chevaux, and one of them is hair and one of them is horse. And sure enough, she went into the hair salon in Paris and asked to have her horse washed and set. And it's just the dyslexia makes you get things backwards.
and I'm sure the French hairstylists have heard that before.
Oh, they thought it was hilarious, but they had, yes.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, don't get too stressed about it, but try and remember liber, libri. Um, have you ever seen a book plate? Ex libris.
yeah,
Maybe that's the way to remember it.
yeah.
So I don't know. Anyway, so let's see. Where were we? Oh, there we go. So he's not asking here how many books are in the family. He's asking how many children are in the family.
Yeah.
So let's see here. Let's get started. I'll do the first one. Quat liberi sunt in familia? In familia Julii sunt tres liberi. Quat filii et quat filiae? Duo filii et una filia. Quat servi sunt in familia? In familia sunt centum servi. In familia Julii sunt multi servi, pauci liberi, Julius est dominus multorum servorum. So Julius is definitely upper middle class. So for that time. Any questions on what that means? Speak up or forever hold your peace. Okay. Who wants to do the next section, which goes to down here?
But no, I had a question. Although I think it's pretty obvious that quat is not dependent on the genus, like male or masculine or feminine, whereas
Correct.
quis is.
Well,
Quis
yes.
and que.
Quat simply means how much or how many.
Yeah.
How many is sorry.
And it's regardless of whether it's masculine or
Yeah, it
feminine or
doesn't
neutral.
matter what it is. Let's see. Quis and que. Quis being the masculine form and que being the feminine form. You generally, and quid. Okay, quis. Here, actually, let me bring this up here.
In the companion, Michael,
Mhm.
next to quat, it says paren indeclinable.
Right. Yep, it is indeclinable, which means
Thanks.
you can't decline it, so you must answer the question. Right? Okay.
That's a good terminology.
At least if I'm asking the question, you're not allowed to decline it, right? So anyway, quis at this stage is who, masculine or feminine. Okay. Que is also who, but it is always feminine.
Yeah.
And you would use que if you knew the answer was feminine. So you really wouldn't say quis Emilia est, because Emilia is feminine. You would say que Emilia femina est. But if you didn't know, I'm trying to think of a good example of where you would use quis when the answer could be masculine or feminine. And I'm struggling a little bit with what you've had so far. And then quid.
Like who's at the door?
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Teresa. That's an excellent one. Yeah, somebody knocks on the door and you say quis est.
Mhm.
Literally, who is it? So that would be excellent example. Thank you. And then quid is what?
Mhm.
Now, the reason I put these three together is later on, we're going to see that these are both interrogative pronouns and can also be relative pronouns and a couple of other things. So
Wow.
they do have gender, number, genus, numerus, casus. For now, we don't have to worry about it. Okay. Oh,
But
by the
my
way, I should say we do have qui in this.
right, and I had a question about that.
That is who plural. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so qui is masculine, right?
Yes.
And so if you're referring specifically, if I recall you from last class, que um, is both the singular and the plural
For the feminine, yeah.
for the feminine. So if you were speaking specifically about men in the plural, you would use qui, and if you were speaking specifically about women in the plural, you would use que.
Yes.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know.
Yeah. And in a way that's useful because well, let's see, how do I want to put this? Because it makes it easier. You're used to seeing the AE there for feminine plural. So hopefully that is one less thing. In fact, let me go ahead and put this in here. Que is is who feminine plural. And quid is actually neuter. Okay. As we will see. N. And so if you want to say, who is it? You might say, quis est. If you want to say, what is it? You would say, quid est. And if you wanted to say, who is she? You might say, que est. Does that all make sense?
Mhm.
Or I should say, anybody out there to which it doesn't make sense. Okay. Later on, before the this evening is out, I'm going to start throwing random questions out there, and I want people to answer. So you've been forewarned. So back to here. Oh yeah, I guess I should throw quat in there. Let me throw quat in there. Let's see. Actually, is there an easy? Well, we'll do this. Quat is how many or how much
I can think of the word quota.
or what quantity?
No, that's a good.
Quantity, there we go.
So they don't have like an English. This drives me nuts when I hear commercials. It's not less need to get up to go urinate during the night or less. It in us in English we have less for fewer for
Quantity.
something that have been counted and less for volume.
Yeah,
Although
like
that is
less
getting
and
totally
fewer.
screwed up in advertising these days. That and adverbs, the ly ending is disappearing. So, but in Latin, do they have something different for volume as opposed to a quantity amount?
I have to think about that for a second. Well, quat is always how many or in the sense of what quantity. But when I say that, I mean as in how many, okay? Not, maybe I should take off the how much because that implies volume. And so I better be careful here. Trying to think of what how much is. I think that's qua, if I make, is that right? Qua? No, come on now. I should know what this word is, and I'm struggling.
What about quantum?
Well, let's see here. No, I'm just blanking. Multum is, oh, I know. Quantus. That's right. And quantum. Well, I'll have to look that up, Teresa. I'm blanking at the moment. Um, but I think it's quantum.
Okay, I don't think we've run into that in our reading at all.
No, we haven't. And I'm struggling myself to remember. Yeah, it could be quantum, quantilum. There's a couple of words like that that imply
How much?
how much.
Hmm.
So, all right, there we go. All right, so, and
I wonder if they chose that word intentionally when they say quantum physics.
yes, they did.
That's because of the quanta, um, small things.
Yeah, the smallest unit. Yeah, I always amused, people say the quantum leap, which implies a huge leap. Well, the problem with that is a quanta is the smallest you can get in quantum mechanics. You can't get anything. The next step down is nothing, Particles are quantized. Uh, um, photons are quantized, etc. So you can't have half a photon, can't have half an electron. Okay, just doesn't work that way.
Like Uno, quantum step for man.
Right. Actually, yes. Anyway, so centum, 100. And so this is a pretty big household. Okay. It has 100 servants, slaves. And by the way, I noticed in the missal this weekend, they translated familia as household. And that's probably a better translation than just family. Because in the Roman point of view, the family included everybody that was under that roof and under the authority, if you wish, of the paterfamilias, or in some cases the mater, because they were obviously widows. So the slaves, etc. All right, let's
I have
continue.
one quick question.
Okay.
The Pauci Liberi, I guess because there's two children we're talking about, that makes sense.
How about three?
Three, excuse me. The the last time we were talking about last class, you mentioned the financial responsibilities that the parents would have when a child reached a certain age. Uh, the small number three here, was that typical, or did it just really depend on the wealth of the family?
Oh, well, okay. You saw this to a certain extent, even in modern times, less modern times, shall we say. Oh, and Ethan, remind me to answer your question here. Um, in rural situations, the rural farms, extra hands made light work. Okay. And that was true of family farms for centuries and was the case in the US. Whereas in cities were really a different situation. So families tended to be smaller inside cities.
But they had more servants
Well, no, both farm. Well,
in the city.
it depended on the farm, really. Was the
Yeah.
farm owned?
It really depended on position of the parents. If the parents were patricians and the father was a senator, he would have a very strong obligation to be able to provide I think it was like 1,000,000 sesterces for his each son, which is why you tried to adopt out some if you had too many, to wealthy families that didn't have sons. So that's the a census requirement to become a senator. And your daughters would also have to be dowried. If you were a farmer, the sons aren't going to be going into the Senate, but you had to provide them with a means to a living, and the daughters' dowries would be more like a pig.
Right.
Didn't have to be cash.
Notice it was the dowry that was the pig, not the husband.
Ah,
So yeah, Jenny's quite right. Is it kind of I'd be a little bit careful saying absolutely across all Roman families, but yeah, the higher up and the more urbanized, because the Senate was obviously in Rome, and the richer families, they may have villas outside the cities, but they would have been thoroughly urbanized. They would not be into rural agriculture. Maybe that's a better way of saying it.
And most people don't realize this, but Caesar Augustus came from a farming family. And his grandfather was a farmer. His father was a senator, I think, and he had enough money to raise his son in the city, but he still spent a lot of time on the farm. So there was a lot of mobility within the classes.
Yeah. Although it was largely based on money. So, but anyway, yeah, in the case of Julius, that would be very typical of a Roman family, is to have 3 children.
okay.
And actually, if you read farther in the book, you'll discover something interesting. But that's like chapter 20. So you got a long way to go. Anyway, okay, let's try and get back to what the next paragraph. Any volunteers?
I could try it.
Give it a try.
Duo et tres numeris sunt, centum quoque numerus est. Numerus servorum est centum. Numerus laborum est tres. Centum est magnus numerus. Tres parvus numerus est. Numerus servorum est magnus. That's so hard to say. Magnus.
Pretend it's a canyon.
Yeah,
Manus.
magnus. Yeah, or almost Y.
Yeah,
Ma
it's a Y with an N in there. Canyon Manus.
Magnus.
Yeah,
Okay, thanks.
can't go wrong.
Numerus servorum est magnus. Numerus liberorum parvus est. In familia Julii magnus numerus servorum. Parvus numerus liberorum est.
Yeah, liberorum. There's a
Liberorum.
liberorum. Yeah, there we
Yeah,
go.
liberorum. Yeah, accent on the orum. Yeah.
Yes, on the orum.
Liberorum.
Yeah,
Thanks.
exactly. Good. Any questions as to what that means? Oh, sorry, Ethan. What about qui? Is it male only? Yes. If you go back to my keynote, qui is, oh, I should have put a masculine in there. Well, it's masculine and plural, like quis, okay? If there were some men and women, and you would want to know who they are, you would say qui sunt, quis est, who is it, or who is this? You would say qui sunt, which would be who are they? Um, If it was specifically male, then if it was specifically male, you would use that form as well. So it is actually a masculine form. Okay. When we if you remember if you remember the other chapter or this chapter, Filius is singular. Filii is plural. To go for a US ending noun to plural, you drop the US and you put an I. So there were a lot of words. Let me pop back over here. In fact, let me go down to the vocabulary. So puer, plural is pueri. Servus, the plural is servi. And the plural of liber is liberi, although you would expect him to only use the plural form, since that meant children. Dominus, plural is domini. So quis, the plural is qui. And yes, it's somewhat irregular. Quisque quid is not a regular third or second declension noun. So you'll have to memorize the parts as they go on. Does that make sense, Ethan?
Sort of, but the Paternoster quiescentialis doesn't make sense.
Oh dear. Okay. Yeah, we would accuse the prayer of heresy, three gods, right? Or I don't know, maybe the pater has got multiple personalities. Okay. All right. Give me just a moment.
That's a very good question.
That is a very good question. I hate you for noticing it. No, I'm just kidding. It is a very good question. All right, give me just a second here.
It's a natural question.
What?
It's a natural question.
Oh, it is. It is. No, I'm only complaining that I hoped I could sneak one by you guys. Sometimes I hope you notice something and you don't let me sneak it by. But then there's other times you do notice it when I had hoped you didn't notice it. So, all right, hold on here. Let me do a new share here. Okay, give me just a second.
Does it have anything to do with evocative?
No.
Okay.
No.
Because the paternoster, the words paternoster.
Well, okay. The problem is, let's see, do we have it?
Could be nominative.
Okay. Here, hold on just a second. Let me I'm going to pop this in on the charts. Give me just a minute. Because this is a very good question, but it is not easily answered. So just give me a moment here to get my stuff pasted in. There we go. I'm going to actually, I'm going to drop that. By the way, when you get done with this class, you're going to know a whole lot of English grammar as well as Latin grammar. Okay, there we go. And the answer is quis, que, quid is what's known as an interrogative pronoun. So let me, yeah, you should be able to see this, right? As I paste these in. Right? Yes? Okay. Quis, quid, and this is the total, this is the declension, is an interrogative pronoun. So it always starts out in the sense of who. Okay? who is the Pope? Quis est Papa, for example. But who can also be a relative pronoun which stands in for a noun. Okay, you know what pronouns are? Pronouns are he, she, it. Okay. Relative pronouns are the same thing, only they're generic. And so even though we translate the word in both cases as who, quis est papa, who is the Pope, and pater noster, qui es in celis, and the plural here is qui, and technically the singular is qui, but most people are going to say qui anyway, so don't worry about it. Is a relative pronoun, so it's actually a different word, which I realize is probably a little confusing, but we will get to these later in the chapters. I really don't remember which chapter it is, though. Understand? Feel free to ask
Yes.
me questions. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, yes. And my wife is commenting that until recently, I think they finally got it straight. If you asked a number of the AIs who the Pope was, it would still say Pope Francis. And one gentleman said, no, it's Pope Leo the 14th. And the AI came back, no, there's no such person. Either you're mistaken, or if you were told that, somebody's lying to you. So there's, yeah, if you get
And
a chance.
it sounded very stuffy about it too.
Yes, it was very stuff. Yeah, if you get a chance, click on that, not during class, but save that link and read it
Yeah.
to your great amusement later on.
Yeah.
So it's by the way, Chat GPT does a very nice Latin. Well, maybe someday we'll get to that. But again, with AI, the way it works, oh boy, I don't want to get into large language models. And the way the AI works is it looks for patterns, and I'm simplifying this greatly. And so AI can see correlations between things that humans can't or don't. So that makes it very valuable because sometimes those correlations are something we didn't notice. Oh, and it's very important to us. Other time that correlation is really weak and it leads it down a blind alley or a silly path or whatever you want to call it. It is referred to AI hallucinations. There are less polite terms, but we'll use the term hallucinations. So it's a useful tool, but you got to be careful. All right. Maybe we can finally get back to the Latin. Okay. Let's see now. Where were we? Okay. Any more questions? And these are good questions. If you don't understand something, by all means ask. Okay. What's the next section?
Okay, we are. Oh, wow, I've got the wrong page. That's why I couldn't figure out where we were.
You're on line 45, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, that would be page, what is that? It's chapter 2, page 15.
Oh, that's okay. Thank you.
Medus servus,
Um,
Graecus est.
okay, I'll read it if you want.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
It's easier for me to read on the book here
That's
because
fine.
the print's too small. Medus servus Graecus est. Delia est ancilla, is it a ancilla?
Ancilla.
Ancilla Greca. In familia Juliae sunt multiservi Greci multeque
Yeah, multeque.
ancillae Grece. Esne Aemilia femina Greca. Aemilia non est femina Greca, sed Romana. Julius non vir Grecus, sed Romanus est.
Good. Any questions there? And remember the QUE is an and. They could write it Iuli sunt multi servi greci. Oops, sorry. In familia Iuli, the sentence was not making any sense. In familia Iuli sunt multi servi greci et multe ancille grece. So you can either have an et or you can have a QUE. And we will have a lesson in the near, not too distant future on et and QUE. For the moment, it's the same thing as an and, basically. And so,
Okay, and how did you pronounce the word I was having trouble with? I'm having trouble finding it.
multeque.
Okay.
Yeah, just like multe.
Okay.
Yeah, multe ancile. So you just put the que on there. So multeque ancile.
Okay. Thank you.
So, and the famous QUE ending word is the filioque
Multiple.
in the Creed. Qui ex patre filioque procedit. The Holy Spirit proceeds from the Father and the Son. So, okay. Any
That
questions
Thank you.
other than
Greek inmates and Greek servants.
oh, yes. What was there a question?
No, I was just making a comment.
Oh, yeah, the Greeks, the Romans hired a lot of, well, okay. The term Greek was pretty broad then. Most of the Eastern Mediterranean spoke Greek. And if you recall, this guy by the name of Alexander the Great conquered most of Greece. Well, he had Greece, Macedonia, Turkey, Egypt, part of the northern Africa, got into Persia, Syria. I mean, a whole bunch of places.
And
And
everybody says he was Greek. He wasn't. He was
he
Macedonian.
was actually Macedonian, yeah. So the term is usually applied to anybody whose native language was Greek, and that was the better part of the Eastern Roman Empire. So whether they were actually from Greece Greek or one of those areas where Greek was uh, the lingua franca, which the phrase cracks me up because lingua franca is Latin for French language, which refers to when French was the language of diplomacy. But now it's come to mean the language that was most commonly used. So anyway, who wants to do the next one? That's a long one.
I'll do it.
Go for it.
Okay. Need to make sure I don't that I get my long vowels and short vowels straight. Sparta oppidum Graecum est. Sparta Delphi Tusculumque tria oppida sunt. Duo oppida Graeca et unum oppidum Romanum. In Graecia et in Italia manus numerus oppidorum est. In Gallia est manus numerus fluviorum. Fluvii Galliae manus sunt. Magninae sunt fluvii Africae,
Che,
and Africae.
che, Africe,
Sorry.
like
Um,
Chelum.
yeah. And Africa unus fluvius manus est. Nilus cetere fluvii Africae parvi sunt. Sunt ne magnae insulae Grece, Creta et Euboea, due insulae magnae sunt. Cetere insulae Grece sunt parve. I'm having trouble with Grece. Sorry.
Well, it's plural, yeah. we
Okay.
had Greca all over the place, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
anyway, any questions on that? And this is, by the way, where we pick up the plural possessive.
How do you pronounce?
Numerous
Is it uboy?
opitorum est.
Uboy? Is it EU?
I've heard different pronunciations on that. My understanding is it is uboea.
Uboya.
That's not quite how our Italian friend does that, but it's close.
See, that sounds funny because you've got well, okay, it's the EA instead of the AE. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
But the Romans were so used to also speaking Greece that those OI sounds, show up and we're comfortable with it.
Yeah. 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 It wouldn't surprise me if Julius spoke Greek. In fact, if he had any, what's the word I want? Well, the word would be gravitas or imperium. Today we would say what? Influence, I guess. Pull, political pull. I don't know. He would have known Greek. So,
I was going to comment. It's interesting that between Delphi and Tusculumque, there's no comma
uh,
because
yeah, let's see.
you imagine an and. Yeah.
Let's see. I know. Where was it? It was up here. Oh, there.
Arta Delphi Tusculumque.
Yes.
And even though
That
it's not
will,
list. It's not a list because it means and. Is the way I'm interpreting that. Why there's no comma.
yeah, different
It's not.
styles. Okay. Even in English, there are places where some people put commas and other people slap your hand and say, no, there's not supposed to be a comma there. I frequently have disagreements with my grammar checker on that.
That looks odd to me.
I
Well, I
would
don't
have put a
think it's
comma
because
there
it
personally.
and the que implies an and in between Delphi and Tusculum,
Yes.
whereas
Now,
it does start as a list with comma.
and that's convenient for modern speakers.
Right, in the original Latin, there wouldn't be
Yeah,
any
the original Latin, at
situations.
best, there would be a period or a space or something. So, um, but yeah, I would have put a Sparta Delphi, comma, Tusculumque, tria oppidus sunt. Let's see here. I don't know if that's a typo necessarily. Does anybody, great, Jenny, you have the book handy. Is there a comma there between Delphi and Tusculum in that Sparta oppidum Grecum est? Do you see it? And if you're
And
answering, your microphone is muted.
yeah,
It's the same
Thank
thing.
you. Thank you.
mhm.
It says Sparta oppidum Grecum est, period. Sparta, comma,
No, no.
Delphi,
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
sorry. Go ahead.
and then Sparta, comma, Delphi, Tusculumque, tria oppidus
Okay.
sunt, and that's a colon. There's no
Okay.
more commas after.
Yeah,
Sparta.
yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah, we would expect in English, we'd expect
In
one.
English, we would expect one.
But maybe
Um,
they just figure, well, there was one comma and we're adding more. You're supposed to know. They weren't big on
well,
punctuation.
also, even within different countries and languages, the use of commas is not uniformly the same across all countries. So we may
My
be,
theory is que means and. So if you had Delphi et Tusculum, it's the same thing. So you wouldn't have a comma there. I mean, that's what I'm.
well, okay. Some people grew up. Let's talk about English for a moment. When I grew up, if you wrote Sparta, comma, Delphi, comma, and Tusculum, you would put the comma there. More modern punctuation drops that comma. So
Right. Is that
The
the
answer
Oxford?
is put one there if you want to. The next time you're writing the Senate in Rome. So
That is true in English. Commas are kind of optional sometimes.
yeah, and there are places, oh yes, there are definitely places in Latin text that I've read that I would have put more commas in, and they were not. So
Yeah, but for the most part, they didn't even have periods or
yeah,
commas.
I know. But well, yeah, but we're using modern-ish punctuation today.
Yes.
So anyway, but any questions on Sparta at Delphi? Sparta at Delphi, oppida Greca sunt. Num tusculum oppidum Grecum. Num tusculum oppidum Grecum. How about somebody
Tusculum,
other somebody and other
Tusculum.
was in the last the previous class can answer this. So that means Alex and Teresa are out. I'm sorry. I hope you guys know. So if I say num
Yep.
tusculum oppidum Grecum est, what am I saying here? I'll type it out if that's any help.
You not want Teresa and me to talk?
That's correct.
Okay.
I realize it's I know you know the answer. I want to
Being
make
put in
sure
the corner,
I want
Alex.
to make sure everybody else knows the answer.
I didn't answer.
I know. No, Alex was good. He was okay. Whoops. Oh, rats. I need a hold on. Let me still text frame there. Not hearing any. I'm not going to put. There we go. This is essentially a question from the last chapter. Any takers? Who shall I pick on?
So it would be Tusculum Grecum non est, right?
That's right. This literally says, surely Tusculum is not a Greek city.
Or
And the
isn't
answer is, sorry, isn't a Greek city. Yeah, we got to put that double negative in there in English. And the answer is no, Tusculum is not a Greek city. It is a Roman city. Very good. All right.
I always thought of it as isn't.
Yeah, there's a couple different ways to handle that.
Michael, the Magnine, Magnine, is that how you pronounce that?
The Magne, this one?
No, 2 lines above that, Magnine.
Oh, that lovely little word. Yes.
Okay.
So you would say mani, mani fluvii, for example, many rivers, but they've turned it into a question. So it is manine.
Right.
Yeah, manine sunt fluvii Africae. Yeah, that's a bit of a word. So any questions? Should we go on? Yeah, if you have any questions, ask. That's what I'm here for. Okay, tell you what. I need a Cornelius and a Julius. And I would like to draw from somebody who hasn't read yet.
Got Ethan.
Oh, that's a thought. Ethan, you want to be Cornelius or Julius?
Cornelius.
Okay, you can be Cornelius. Yeah. There's your picture right there. That's what you look like.
You're quite handsome.
And who wants to be Julius?
I'll do it.
Who said they wanted to be Julius?
Najib.
Oh, okay. So I will be the narrator. Quis est Cornelius? Cornelius Dominus Romanus est. Julius et Cornelius duo Domini Romani sunt. Medus non est servus Cornelii, medus servus Julii est. Cornelius, your cue.
Huius servus est medus.
And Julius or Ethan?
Meus est.
Say it again.
Medus servus meus est.
Meus est. Cornelius.
Est ne davus servus tuus?
Julius.
Davus quoquos servus meus est. Servi mei sunt medus et davus et ceteri multi.
How do you say that word, Julius?
Meus.
Meus. Okay. It was sounding like to me to like nos or
And he said zeteri instead of cheteri.
yeah, and that should be ceteri, so see. Cornelius.
Est ne delia ancilla tua?
Julius.
Delia est ancilla mea et sira quoque ancilla mea est. Ancille mea sunt delia et sira et cetere multe.
Cetere. Cetere.
Cetere multe. Familia mea magna est.
Very good. Cornelius.
What
Okay.
servis sunt in familia tua?
I think you guys swapped roles. Julius.
In familia mea sunt centum servi.
Cornelius.
Quid?
Numerus servorum meorum est centum.
Cornelius.
Centum servi? Manius est numerus servorum tuorum.
Oh, excellent. Yes. Yes. Cornelius is kind of surprised at the size of Julius's family. And all right. Any questions on that section?
Good job to our readers.
Yes, thank you. All right, now we get to the liber antiquus and liber novus. Depending upon, well, actually, Rome or Latin, Rome or the Roman Empire or Romans, whatever you want to call it, invented the book. Okay. They were actually the first ones to take the pages of a scroll and cut them up and paste them into a book.
Yeah, they called it a codex.
A codex, yeah. And that happened about the first century. I think it was, oh, no, actually, even actually Julius Caesar is rumored to have been the first to have done that. So that would be the first century BC. But I think he was unique in that. Now, scrolls were used for a long time afterwards. Books didn't catch on until a number of centuries later. One of the groups that used books very early on are Christians. And there's a very simple reason for that. A scroll, you would roll out, and there'd be like the first page, and then there'd be the second page, and then you'd have to unroll that, and then you'd have to roll that up, and there'd be the third and the fourth, etc. So if you wanted page 17 of a long scroll, you had a lot of work to get to. Whereas with a book, you could simply flip to it. Well, what's one of the largest books in existence in terms of number of pages? Any guesses?
Bible.
The Bible, yes. So Christians, now they typically didn't have the entire Bible in one book.
Yeah, the
It would have
books of
been,
the Bible.
Yeah, they wouldn't have had the Bible for some time, would they?
well,
There were
They
the
might
books
have
of
epistles and things of that nature.
well,
but
in the first century, no.
um
But the Christians were amongst the earliest cultural group to adopt this form of a book, simply because they
they were
had,
originally the original Roman ones were wax tablets.
yeah, in
The
fact, some of the earliest books were not paper books, but wax tablet
yeah,
books
the wax.
stuck together. But anyway, um, no, it was quite well, okay, even early on, um, the mass we have today. Well, first off, there was no proto mass. The apostles didn't sit down and say, "Okay, this is the mass in 33 AD or 34 AD or whatever." It sort of grew organically, and it grew organically out of the apostles being sent all over the Pax Romana. But they did have a very common structure. Okay. And that is you had the reading, the first part, the liturgy, what we would call the liturgy of the word, and there were readings. Okay. There would be Old Testament readings. In the earliest centuries, there'd be the reading of a letter of St. Paul or Peter, or what today we would recognize as the New Testament. And eventually, as the books coalesced and in the New Testament, there would be specific readings from them. And I defy you to print out the Bible in a scroll and then find Isaiah chapter 9. You'll be, like the one we have is huge there.
well,
You're
wouldn't
not,
it also be easier to hide a book if you were being hunted down as opposed to carrying around a big scroll?
not necessarily, not necessarily.
And actually being able to keep them in good condition was one of the reasons for scrolls, because scrolls, you didn't just tie a ribbon around them, you put them usually in some kind of a metal case.
Yep. Yeah, today we would call it like a map tube or a mailing tube, for example. So, yeah, I wouldn't say that's it. It was really just the sake of convenience of being able to find, Isaiah well, they didn't have chapters back then, but the point is it made life a lot easier. And of
I
course,
was looking for I Jeremiah about a week ago, and even in the book, it took me about 20 minutes to find it.
yeah, yeah. So,
Yeah, and the scroll is a two-hand operation,
yes,
whereas the book you
yes,
could go one hand or no hands too.
yes, very much so.
Yeah. So it's just remarkable technology, really.
Yeah, which means that New Yorkers cannot read from a scroll. Anybody want to guess why?
Because they're just gesticulating.
Yeah, because they need both hands to talk. Not even a boo? Wow.
I have friends who tease me about that because I'm Italian, and I have been known to almost wipe people out during a conversation.
Ah, okay. Well, we'll add Teresa to the list. So if we give you a scroll to read from, you're in trouble. Is that it? All right.
Just
Anyway.
stand back. That's all you have to do.
Okay. All right. Anyway, next paragraph. Somebody else. We've had Alex. We've had Ethan. We had
How
Najid.
about Ariana?
Ariana, you're at the top there. How about you?
Ecce duo libri libri
Yep. Short
latini,
I.
libri latini, liber antiquus et liber novus.
Yeah, try and make them short because they're books. Technically,
Liber.
you made it an antique child and a new child.
Ooh, okay.
Hey, but don't worry about it because actually our Italian speaker does that as well. I'll try and get to that here in a I wanted let's see how much farther do we have? Yeah, I wanted to get to the end of section 3 and then I want to do some with our recording. So anyway, sorry to interrupt. Continue.
Liber.
Liberty.
Liber.
Yeah, just think liberty.
Liber. Okay. Lingua Latina est primus liber tuus Latinus. Titulus libri tui est lingua Latina. Liber tuus non antiquus sed novus est.
Very good.
Good job.
Let's see now. Who have I not called on?
I can take it. I haven't read yet.
Really? Yeah, you're right. You haven't. Go ahead.
In lingua latina sunt multe paginae et multe capitula. Capitulum primum, secundum, tertium, etc. Imperium Romanum est titulus capituli primi. Titulus capituli secundi est Familia Romana. In capitulo secundo sunt 6 paginae. In paginae prima capitolo secundo sunt 6 paginae. In paginae prima capituli secundi multa vocabula nova sunt. Vir, femina, puer, familia, etc. Numerus vocabulorum Latinorum magnus est.
Very good. Any questions on that? And by the way, Teresa's had practice, so if you with practice you can get as good as she can.
Well, my French teacher in high school told me I had a very good linguistic tongue.
Ah.
I can read language. I mean, I'd understand what I'm reading, but I can sure as heck read the heck out of them. So.
Well, that's good. So, pagina. Multe paginae in libero est. Many pages are in a book. All right, so we've had, I've got to go through this briefly for just a second. So what we learn.
Could I ask a question really quick?
Go right ahead.
And I feel like I'm hearing pagina. Is it not pagina? Or is that one of the diphthongs too?
No, it's not a diphthong. G's are soft, like C's, G's are soft in front of certain vowels.
Okay.
So C's, okay, are soft in front of, well, they're hard here. Capitulum, capituli. Let's see, where's it? Good. Yeah, there we go. It's in here someplace.
Last line. Next to the last line.
I saw it just a second ago.
It's that next to the last line where it says Ella, Familia, etc. That right above Magnus Est. Go all the way to the.
I'm looking down here. Sorry, my cursor was down here. You meant where yes. Okay, and it is soft in front of e's, etc. We also say caelum, which is caelum. So it is soft in front of i's and e's. It is hard in front of a's and o's. Oh, and it's soft in front of I. Did I say? Yeah, I just think I said i's already. If you go back to the notes from the first class, it has tables of pronunciation for that. So yes, G's likewise.
So G in pagina with lingua latina.
Yeah. So pagina, soft G.
In the same line, lingua latina.
Oh, lingua. Thank you. Oh, that's a good one. Thank you. Yeah, lingua. because G's and U's, sorry, G's and C's are hard in front of U's, but they're soft in front of I's and A's and E's and AE's.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay. So we add, we actually add the words masculinum, feminum, and neutrum, which I was already using in the previous chapter, just to kind of get you used to it. The big one is genitivus now, or the possessive. Julius Dominus servi est. Julius is the master of the servant. Julius is the master of Davi. Okay. Plural, Julius Dominus servorum est. Julius is the master of the servants. So, servi, genitivus est, servorum, quoque genitivus est, sed pluralis. Femininum, Emilia domina ancile, Emilia domina sire. So what we do is we take that A, and to make it possessive, we add an AE on the end. Emilia domina ancillarum, for plural. And then neutrum, let's see, yeah, de est prima littera vocabuli dominus. So both the neuter and the masculine, singular, well, actually singular and plural possessives. Well, the singular possessive is I, and the plural possessive is aurum. And we'll go into that in a whole lot more detail in the next class. So for next class, please read the Grammatica Latina thoroughly and understand it. And I will probably start in on Pensum C, or sorry, Che. So next time, but at least hit up the Grammatica Latina. And with that, I did want to go back to, let's see here. All right, where is our Liber? Oh, yeah, here we go. All right, come on. I know it's in here. Oh, maybe that's it.
Indeed.
Quid. Come on. Ah, here it is. Let's see if I can get it right when we play.
Libus Latinus.
There we go.
Ecce duo libri latini. Liber antiquus.
See, did you hear it? Liber antiquus and liber novus.
Et liber novus. Lingua latina est primus liber tuus latinus. Titulus libri tui est lingua latina. Liber tuus non antiquus, sed novus est.
So I noticed he makes that a liber. Whoa, he makes that a liber. But here he does say libri, so I'm not entirely sure what's going on there. But anyway, any questions before we close up shop, so to speak, since getting that time?
I found this cool thing in a manuscript, the Carmina Burana, which is comparative and superlative.
Yes.
So it's Annus Maior Maximus.
Yes.
Which I thought was cool.
Yeah, we'll get to the superlatives. I've forgotten which chapter.
Okay, it's coming.
Oh, it's coming. Yes. No,
It's
when you
pretty.
get if you manage to get all the way through the Familia Romana, well, I wouldn't say you have had everything in terms of Latin grammar, etc. You have had most everything. And so the superlatives, the comparatives, you will have had all the verb forms. You'll have the active, the passive, the present, the imperfect, the perfect, the pluperfect, and what am I
Nope.
thing here? Deponent and everything else. So they're all in there. So just be patient. Now, I am going to say one thing. I'm going to add one word to your vocabulary, which you have not had yet, right? Deus. Now, I imagine most of you are familiar with it. Anybody not familiar with it? Didn't think so. So now we can state the Trinitarian. Filius est Deus. Spiritus Sanctus. I will grant you haven't had that one either. Est Deus. Whoops. Deus.
That you is a problem.
I have a problem typing today. Non est, I should say non sunt, res Dei, sed unus Deus. Unus Deus in tres person is. I guess you haven't had that. Yeah, the plural ablative. Oh, yeah, you've had the plural ablative. I snuck that in. So you can now do part of the Athanasian Creed just with the vocabulary you have. So as I said, it will sneak up on you. Anyway, any last questions? We have 4 minutes left. So, oh, ecce. Sorry, I didn't see that. Yeah, it's best to ask it verbally. That way, A, it's on the recording, and B, I will notice it. If it's in the chat window, I will sometimes miss it. Yes, ecce can be it's usually translated as behold. It can be look. It's a word that is used to express a something that you should look at. You should not ignore this. Okay, this is something important. There is a word for look, which is vide, which means see or look. But behold is much more intensive. So, ecce agnus Dei qui tollis peccata mundi. Behold the Lamb of God who takes away the sins of the world. Well, what's the priest doing when he says that? He's holding up the host, okay? So he's making a declaration here that the consecrated host is indeed Christ in the form of bread.
And doesn't that echo what Pontius Pilate said when he brought?
Yeah, well, to a certain extent, yeah.
The ecce hominum, behold the man.
Well, it would have been ecce homo.
Homo.
Yes, behold the man. And homo is generic man, not male. We had vir in this. We had vir in this chapter, if you remember. And vir, let's see, whoops, went too
How
far.
often they say Homo sapiens?
Yeah, Julius vir Romanus est. Well, vir is very much man, but homo is generic man, like mankind or something like that.
So would Pontius Pilate have been saying something like, see what you've done to this guy? This is this is your man kind of thing, or what have you been
Yeah,
pointing?
really what he's saying is behold this guy that we've really roughed up. And Pilate was,
You happy now?
yeah, exactly.
Sort of look at this guy. Don't be him.
Yeah, well, no, I think it was more of Pilate was trying to wiggle out of the problem. Um, he was concerned. Well, even go back and read the Gospels of that event. Is he was very concerned that if he didn't want to do nothing because that would anger the Sanhedrin and the Pharisees and the what's the high priest and his cohort, and he
He
didn't
was
want
catching
that.
heat from Rome, though, wasn't he?
What?
No, what it was he was okay with punishing him and letting him go until it was pointed out to him that you will get into trouble with Caesar because this guy is claiming, that Caesar is not God.
Well, no, he's claiming that he is a
He
king.
is, yes, king and not
Yeah,
Caesar. So,
and that's why on the cross it said Rex Judiorum, the king of the Jews. And the Romans were pretty, as long as you paid your taxes, they really didn't care. Okay, they were pretty laid back. There were only two things they didn't like. One, you weren't paying your taxes, or two, rebellion. And naturally, if this guy was the king of the Jews, well, the presumption was is he was going to lead a revolt against Rome. And Pontius Pilate didn't wanted to nip that in the bud. So he really didn't see anything that Jesus had done wrong. He saw that the high priest and company hated Jesus, so he didn't want to anger for lack of a better term, the intelligentsia in Jerusalem at the time. He didn't want riots in the streets. And so he wanted to punish Jesus and hope that was it and that would be it because he didn't want to antagonize Jesus' followers because if he had a large following, they may actually revolt or something. So he was trying to take the compromised position. And as Jenny pointed out, that's when the crowds basically said, "Hey, you're no friend of Caesar." So that's when he realized that he was his almost duty bound to have Jesus crucified at that.
there were no good options for him.
Yeah, there was really no.
That's why he's trying to wash his hands of the whole deal.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it sounds a little strange, but in a way, I felt sorry for Pontius Pilate because
I was under the impression, I thought I had read some history somewhere that Pontius Pilate was assigned there because it was a troublesome spot, but he was already in some heat with Rome, and that's why he was trying to squirm out of this whole, crucified Jesus issue. Because, like you said, either way, it was a no-win for him.
Yeah. No, Judea was not the plum appointment. Okay. Let's say you get appointed to the diplomatic corps. Would you rather be a diplomat in, say, France or Italy or Germany or the Vatican, or would you prefer Ethiopia, North Korea, although we don't have a diplomat,
Or Iran.
yeah, or Iran.
Troublesome spots.
Yeah, and so yes, it was a very troublesome spot. And what happened in 70 AD?
They had the revolt.
They had the revolt.
And the revolt, and the Romans squashed it.
They were revoltant. Yeah,
and they leveled Jerusalem. I mean, they leveled it. So,
by the time the Romans leveled Jerusalem, the Jews had pretty much done a lot of that themselves.
Yeah,
there were two factions fighting each other.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, and that's true. And the revolt had less to do with against the Romans, which it did some, but it was more the two factions. So, anyway. But yes, ecce means behold, look at this, see this. In modern
quite
parlance,
often,
I am a great influencer. Look at me.
quite often at mass when Father is saying "Eche," there will be bells ringing, and I
Yes.
always taught our kids and now our grandchildren, when you hear the word "Eche" or you hear the bells, it means you got to sit up and pay attention.
Yep. Does that answer your question, Jess?
It does. That was really helpful. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Oh, we're 4 minutes over, so let's finish up here. As I said, read through the Grammatica Latina next time. Start in on the exercises. I will probably not send those out this week. I'll probably hold off on next week, but you do have them in the back of your book. So, and actually, you do have this PDF of the second chapter. So you might start scribbling some notes down there to get a advance on it.
Did you post the PDF on Flock Notes?
No, I emailed it to everybody through
Okay.
Flocknote.
For some reason, I'm not getting your email.
Well, you got the last one, didn't you?
I did, but I didn't. I don't have any other email of a PDF.
Huh. All right. I will remember to send you first chapter, second chapter.
I think I have the first,
Oh, but not the second.
but I don't have the second.
All right. I'll send you the second. Okay. All right. Let's mute everybody. In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Amen. Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum. Benedicta tu in mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Sancta Maria, Mater Dei, ora pro nobis peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostrae. Amen. And so with that, that is the